Sailing within oneself, savoring the silence amid the rumble of a life storm. In the hustle and bustle of an increasingly hectic era, we often lose ourselves in the midst of a sea of noise. The world is getting louder, everything is moving fast, leaving no room to stop for a moment. Smartphones, social media notifications, full schedules, and seemingly endless work, all vying for our attention, pulling us further and further away from the core of pure consciousness. In the midst of it all, the inner self whispers softly, calling out for something that is often neglected. Something that is difficult to describe, but every soul must know it. A longing for serenity, for the peace that we cannot really find in the hustle and bustle of the crowd. We often view life as acceleration. The faster, the more advanced, the more successful. However, in between the soaring material achievements, we often feel thrown into an empty space that creates anxiety. We ask, what exactly is lacking in this life? Haven't all our needs been met? In fact, even though our bodies are filled with all kinds of pleasures, our souls often feel empty. Why is this so? Because humans are not only material beings who are satisfied with physical happiness, but also spiritual beings who are constantly searching for the deepest meaning in every breath they take. In the midst of this reflection, a person begins to embark on a journey, not to distant places, but to the depths of his own soul. On this journey, he discovers that true happiness is not something that can be bought, owned, or achieved through position. True serenity is about the presence of a deep sense of gratitude, the emergence of new perspectives in life, a perspective that comes from a clear inner silence. In the process of exploring the inner self, several essential elements clearly emerge. First is deep introspection. There is no more valuable inner journey than discovering who we really are. In mental silence, in contemplation, in what is called muhasabah, we can finally meet ourselves as we are. We find the shortcomings, weaknesses, and even mistakes that we often cover up in everyday life. But here precisely lies the great power of true introspection. There is tremendous freedom that comes when we are able to fully accept ourselves with all our limitations. We come to know that most of our anxiety arises from an inability to accept our condition as it is. In the process of exploring our inner recesses, we learn to accept that we are indeed imperfect. And it is precisely this imperfection that gives life its most honest and authentic color. In spiritual classics, it is said that the fruit of silence is tranquility. Behind this simple phrase lies a profound meaning. The mind, as a place of tranquility, must first find silence. Not many people dare to surrender themselves to this silence because they are afraid of encountering their true selves. In silence, we are forced to face reality without polish, without the social filters that usually protect us from our true selves. This situation is certainly not always comfortable, but it is very important for the growth of the soul. The inner truth is always simple, but it is often obscured by the complexity of the thoughts we create ourselves. Modern life often teaches us to be reactive. To everything we give a quick, spontaneous reaction, without having time to think deeply. If there is a problem, we immediately look for an instant solution. If there is disappointment, we immediately look for an outlet. However, the path to true tranquility never goes through such emotional reactions. It goes through the ability to stop, dwell, and honestly listen to what our hearts truly desire. In other words, inner tranquility is the condition of being fully present in the present and sincerely accepting the reality of life. Writing in this context is the most powerful and intimate means of finding inner expression. Writing becomes a door to the inner world, where we are free to speak with maximum honesty, without being limited by fear of social judgment. In free writing exercises, we go through a process of clearing our minds, understanding the feelings we have been holding back, and freeing ourselves from heavy psychological pressure. Imagine yourself sitting alone at night, pen in hand, notebook open before you. You start writing without a clear direction. Slowly, your tears fall unconsciously as the pen carves out old wounds that you have been reluctant to acknowledge. You are reunited with forgotten memories, untreated wounds, and unmourned losses. This is where the power of authentic writing lies. in its ability to bring about unexpected healing, to restore space that has been considered lost, and to offer peace to replace the noise in our souls. In the simplicity of the writing process, the soul finally finds an expression of freedom. It leads us to the realization that life is not as complicated as it should be. Much of the suffering of the soul comes precisely from our inability to come to terms with reality. By accepting the reality of life as it is, we begin to understand that we don't have to be someone in order to be accepted by the world. We have special qualities that everyone has, but which are often ignored because we are busy pursuing external, ephemeral things. As the poet and philosopher Rabindranath Tagore said, "Joy is everywhere, in the stillness of the blue sky, in the green silence of the grass." When we really search our hearts, we find that happiness is simpler than we think. It is present in small moments, a light breath in the morning, a cup of warm tea in the evening, or a simple smile from someone we care about. All of that is enough to bring peace and fulfillment to the soul, as long as we know how to appreciate it wholeheartedly. Finally, inner exploration teaches us something about the interconnected web of life. We realize that the inner peace we achieve is not only beneficial to ourselves, but also creates peace around us. Every time we find inner silence, we also bring the light of happiness to those around us. We become what Wayne Dyer calls vibrations of energy that affect all living things. This writing is not just a collection of words, but an invitation to start a journey into yourself, a warm invitation to take a break from the noise, to look at yourself honestly, to accept everything that is there, and to finally find true peace. Because peace is not just the absence of sound, but the presence of peace even when the noise continues to buzz loudly. When the world is constantly noisy, choosing to be silent in reflection is the greatest decision we can ever make. It is then that we can arrive at a place that is much closer, more beautiful than ever imagined, which is the depths of ourselves, the place where true magic dwells with all our love, waiting to be discovered.